All right, so welcome to episode 65 of the Strength Hammer podcast. You're going to notice it's a little different because Neil's supposed to be here as usual, but he's having technical difficulties because he's the old man. So we do have Aleks Fithammer joining us today. Aleks, I hope you will send good wishes to Neil that he'll join us eventually.
Yes. I can be Neil for the episode. I
Yeah,
can't fool everybody with the long hair, but
yeah, he's got better hair.
yeah.
He's got the best hair. Yes, we usually use Discord, so now we're using Facebook Messenger because Discord stopped working. Turns out Facebook Messenger is not working, so that's why you get a tiny me and a giant Aleks if you're watching the video. And
It
poorer
makes me feel
audio.
better. My screen is giant you and small me. So
Well, I mean that makes me feel good, but yeah, and worse audio. We can listen. We're gonna blame this all on Neil. So, Aleks, welcome. This isn't your first time on the podcast. This is the first time we're having you on as, I guess, an interview sorts.
I think so. Yeah,
But
sounds right.
yeah, it sounds right. I think you've been on before. I think you helped us review something once. Oh well, it's a while
Yeah,
ago.
actually, I think I helped you review Gloomspite Gits,
That
and
would make
then
sense.
I was also on Big M's Power Hour reviewing Skaven.
Yes, that's true. Remember the Big M one. But anyway, I mean, you listen to every episode because everyone does, obviously. So you know how it works here. So let's start out with some fitness chat. Let's see how's your fitness been doing.
Fantastic. Hey, I'm a fitness influencer, so my fitness is always perfect.
Non,
Just kidding. No,
yeah,
it's
always
on and off.
perfect.
Right now, I am following a 3-day full body split because life is busy, and 3-day full body splits tend to work the best for me
Mhm.
when I don't have as much time. So that's what I've been doing, kind of a higher rep, more intensity and pump focus split. It's gone well, seeing good results.
That's good. That's great. I myself, like I said, I'm still doing. I actually, as I've upped it to about 4 days a week right now. This week will probably be
Nice.
3 because I'm just being too tired. But I added an extra day of cardio because I decided to do it one day when my legs were just feeling shot.
Yeah,
Uh,
fair.
like I was like my knees, everything was just like you're old. Don't deadlift today, please. And I was like, okay, I'll just do some cardio and went hard on the rowing machine, light on the treadmill, and had fun. So decided to just do 4 days a week now. This, like I said, this week will be 3, but I'll probably just mix a little cardio in with like the leg session or something.
That's a good plan. I like it.
But and also my I didn't talk about it last time since Matt jumped on to fill in for Neil since he was away that weekend for the podcast episode. But I've been doing better on my less sugar intake. So my goal was to have more days without sugar than with sugar. I'm still not hitting that all the time. As I was telling you, I 2 days in a row had ice cream because
Right,
I did
right.
the summer and it was nice. But I have had less. Like I'm not just grabbing sugar that we don't keep. The only sugar we keep in the house is frozen fruit now. So it's really just like those treats when I go out, and it's not like I've noticed like the craving's gone down after like a little bit. Like I'm not at the grocery store. It's like I'll grab like a little candy bar or something. But like it's doing better. So I'm happy to say the sugar habits being weaned down as it should be.
Yeah, no, it makes it more special as well when you have those treats less regularly.
Hmm.
They actually become treats, right?
Yeah. So it's like it's not just something I just do every day. It's like, no, it's a treat. Let's keep it as a treat and it'll be fine.
Right. Yeah. One thing I have been doing as far as nutrition goes, when life gets busy, it's very difficult to track,
Hmm.
as valuable as it is. So instead of trying to track kind of macros and calories, I've just been focusing on protein, purely tracking protein, getting my 1 gram per pound of body weight every day as much as I can, and it becomes much easier to track that instead of trying to track calories and fats and carbs and all that as well.
Oh yeah, keep it simple. But
Wait,
what?
yeah. I said way more protein powder.
Oh, yes, so much protein powder.
Yeah, way more.
Well, let's see. After that, we have to talk some hobby time. So, I think you're gonna have a pretty big hobby section, I imagine.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll go and talk about
So
it.
for all right, good, good.
That was the.
For
It's handing it
holiday.
to you. You're supposed to take it. Come on.
Perfect. Yeah. I received it. So recently I've been working on my Gloomspite Gets, right? In a preparation for NashCon coming up here in about 2 weeks, a little
Hmm.
bit less than 2 weeks now. And I have a little bit over half the army done, and we're leaving in about 9 days for NashCon.
Yep.
So yeah, I still have a lot more to get done, but I have painted the most models I have in the last month than I painted in the last year before that. So it's been very active with hobby. Painted about 40 Gits, painted a few Git heroes, painted fanatics, painted like 20 squigs, painting some terrain. I'm actually gonna give a shout out to Dr. Rhino because Matt on Instagram because he painted some terrain for my display board, and I
Hmm.
actually just received it today. I'm gonna post it on my
Nice.
Instagram later. So it's very much appreciated that he did that for me.
That's fun. Yeah, he did a nice job on your orc army last year. So, which is that
He did.
fully done
That's not bad.
now?
No, no. So actually, it's about half of it is done. Half of it is built. I'm going to keep it the same. The next thing I'm going to send him and commission him to paint will be the second half of the orcs.
Gotcha. Yeah, you need to get that ready so you can play some 10th edition. 10th edition's really fun. I love it.
Everybody I talk to seems to be really enjoying it. As far as the rules, right? Obviously, the balance seems to be not completely figured
Eh,
out yet because it's a new edition. But the rule set themselves, everybody seems to be really enjoying.
yeah, absolutely. And who cares about balance? I mean, I have an overpowered army right now, so get good
Yeah,
scrubs.
who cares about
That's good. My hobby, I painted up terrain for.
Oh,
Oh,
all right.
Neil joined the call. Perfect, perfect. Neil, we're on hobby time because we were tired of your old madness. Taking too
What's
long.
going on? I don't know if you guys can hear me.
I can. Can
Too
you
fun.
assume you can hear
Yes.
us?
All right. Good.
I can adjust the
Right.
screen a little bit more. There we go. Make it look a little better. Cheers. Looking good, Neil. Looking good.
Wait, very good.
Yep. Aqua. um,
Aqua.
there's the soccer reference. My hobby time painted up a table of terrain for the local barn crew. There's an ageofsigmar terrain table of terrain I donated, and I primed it, and then I realized no one's gonna paint it except for me, so I painted it. And then outside that, I built and primed probably about 22 models for my Yanari army. I might be trying to paint to match what my friend Robert did, or I might just have him do it. We'll see. But that's been most of my hobby lately. I can't think of anything else really. Lots of Street Fighter stuff, which still counts as hobby. Lots of Street Fighter stuff. Neil,
Sure.
Neil, you gotta give us a quick rundown. How's your fitness been?
Fitness.
Yeah,
Just been running. Still running. So it's good things.
good.
Hobby, real quick. I am working on this for Matt Hayward for his display board, which he just told me today that he will not have room for this.
Oh,
So I'm
Oh,
busting my ass for the last month. Miscast after miscast after failed print to get this done for him, and he tells me he doesn't need it. So what's going to happen, whether he likes it or not, is I'm going to finish this. I'm going to paint it up, and I'm going to give it to him. And if he doesn't like it, too bad.
you know what we could do, Neil, is we could put a little note in the contract, or I can even make like an addendum, that he has to accept it, and don't tell him it's in there until after we all sign it, and then he
After he
has to
signs
take
on
it. Yeah, we'll just be like, here,
Yeah.
that's
just sign it.
genius.
Yeah.
Well, he did buy me a bottle of resin for my trouble. So I
Oh,
do
it's
feel like
okay. Well,
made good on.
if there's exchange of goods commodity, then it sounds like the trade deal's good. So the Caradron code's going to be kept solid. We don't need to do any shenanigans.
It is literally, it's going to give me a stroke though. This thing, I swear to God.
It looks good. It looks good now.
Well, the problem is, as I explained to Chuck, is this piece right here broke off it, so I have to reprint this and reprint the roof, which did not fit. That was the whole problem. I printed it exactly. I shrunk everything down 60% because this file was huge actually, and so I don't know if the shrinking it down 60% all like made the dimensions off just enough so it wouldn't fit. So this little roof piece right here didn't work, and I tried to force it. Boom.
Well, hey,
Super, yeah.
I won't say that there won't be room on my display board, but I think I'll have some room on my display board because it's not as grand as
Okay,
yours
right.
and Matt's. I'm just, yeah.
Well, mine is just free.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Sounds like any other fun hobby then for you, Neil?
Yeah, I wasn't on last time, so I guess I was up. I visited Big M for my last hobby prep for, I guess you can call it game prep for NashCon, and we got in 3 games of Caradron versus Caradron, which is actually the most anticlimactic thing of all time.
Oh boy, is it? Yeah.
I turned to every game, and we discovered whoever went first won the game because basically one of us would fly in and smoke an entire half of the other's army, and then there wasn't enough for the other person to really do anything at that point, especially if you played it well. So I won 2, Matt won 1 with the list that I created for him. I think he may be using that list at NashCon. If he wins anything, then technically I won every time.
I see what you're thinking.
See what I did there?
I think it is, but I got to call him out because I had to play Matt round 1. Well, I chose to. I wanted to get it out of the way. At GitCon this weekend, which was Alex's event he hosted at his house. As one is an event for him to run into, is also NashCon prep for us. So I had my KO, Matt hit his KO, we played. The first call out for Matt is one, he just put a single entry in the grudge for you beating him, and he put ×2. And then he crossed off after. I don't like that either. I don't either. I'm like, no, you write down every single game, you write it down. Now, granted, he beat you in the 3rd game, so he could cross out both of the grudges. No problems there. But he's not using that grudge book properly. I don't know why he even plays dwarves, honestly. No, you do. You do. No, listen, a dwarf can be efficient. All right. Since Thorgrim Grudgebearer, he was able to cross off multiple grudges in a single battle, so can we. But he's got to write down both grudges. You got to make that book full. You got to, like, Matt's not taking grudges seriously. I don't know why he plays dwarves. I don't know why he pretends like he tries to play dwarves. He's not a dwarf. I don't know what he is.
He's going to be very offended when he hears that.
No, he's not going to be offended.
No,
he
he's
knows
not.
It's telling me, like, as soon as this event's over, I'm shelving this army for good. Salty bastard.
But I guess to sort of wrap up hobby time, we got to talk about GitCon a little bit. So, Alex, why don't you give a little better explanation than my brief explanation of what GitCon was for you?
Yes. So at first, I actually just mentioned it to you that it would be a good idea to run just a game day for people who are going to NashCon to get comfortable with the GHB 2023, get comfortable with the rules, get comfortable with their armies. And then we had about 6 to 8 people actually be able to come. And then I figured let's just make it a tournament, make it fun, right? Have awards already. And one of my lifetime goals was actually to run a Warhammer event at my house. So it was very cool opportunity to combine 2 things in one, run a tournament at my house, and just with fun with friends. Everybody was drinking beer, socializing. It was a good time, and also do a event to prepare for NashCon. That was the main 2 reasons. I think 5, or was it 6 out of 8 people are going to NashCon, I believe.
That's
And
about right,
just a couple of people, Rich and Alejandro, were there just to play games and have fun.
Yeah, fill it out. No, it was good. And yeah, it's nice to get another bucket list, Warhammer bucket list, throwback to an old show that I will forget to link whenever I put this podcast episode up, but go listen to our old episode. So yeah, it's nice to have a bucket list item checked off for you. But I guess
Absolutely.
I'll give a recap of my 3 games real quick and my experience, and then you can do the same, Alex. So game 1, I grudged Matt, KO versus KO, and he went first. So Neil, what you said earlier is 100% true. KO versus KO, whichever KO goes first wins. I was just like, damn. I just got, I it reached a point where I was so far behind. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm charging in first with my admiral into your boat. He's go ahead, unleash hell, and he blew him away. Then I just like the other boat over there, a different hero, and it's just like, yep, just good soldier follows orders. Just charge in and get blown away. Second game, I switched to my Gotrek list.
Little advice, but Chuck, if you are playing KO versus KO, kill the boats.
I was trying to. I just didn't have the firepower. Like it was oddly enough because I don't have many Thunderers. So like the Arcanaut company wasn't doing well enough to kill boats. So like it's hard for me to kill boats. If I get in a mirror match of KO, I'm just dead. So.
Yikes.
But second game, I played Jake, who's a new Warhammer fan and player. He's borrowing an army for this. And I had Gotrek, and as we're going down there, everyone's just like, "You stay away from that little ginger. That ginger's mean. He's terrible." And I'm like, "Okay." And I took that as I don't need to explain what Gotrek does. I just said like he's a quarter of my army, and he can kill whatever he touches. Like, and you are not gonna kill him. So he threw Stonehorn in, and he learned a lesson. And then of course Brad's like, he's like, you cheated him, Chuck. You didn't disclose all the information. I'm like, that app's on his phone if he wants it. And also everybody said it's Gotrek. It's it was warning him, but he wanted to test it. But it was a good game. I'm excited to see how Jake does at this event for being like a newer Warhammer player, because he played that army perfectly. Like with the exception of Gotrek being there, like if I didn't have Gotrek and I had my other list, he would have just ran it over turn 2 easily, just from all the Stonehorns and everything.
I'm very excited for Jake to start playing the game. He actually said, I was hanging out with him today, he said if he had time, he would actually start playing Warhammer consistently.
Well, then,
which is really, really cool.
Yeah. Find a time.
Go ahead.
Just make him find a time.
Find the time. I think I will actually force him into it. But he did really enjoy the game with you, and he said he would have done the same thing even if he knew. even if he knew exactly how that would happen, he would still do it. So.
But maybe
we'll
convince him if he faces Gotrek down in there at NashCon. Be like, just throw the entire army into Gotrek. Just do it.
Yeah. The quick game.
I'll tell you what though, if you have Caradron and you fly up to Gotrek and you get within 6 inches of him, you launch your grenade that takes off his ward save. Then you hit him with phosphorite bomblets after that.
Yep.
Smoked in 2 seconds.
Actually, I had a chance with his second Stonehorn to do that trick. I was like, boom, that ward's gone. All right, phosphorus bomblets. And he's like, cool, rolled up. 1 right away. I was like, damn it. I was still able to kill that Stonehorn with shooting, but I was just like, I should have killed it without having to actually shoot it. So
at least put on 5 mortal wounds onto it.
Yeah.
At least 5.
But and the third game, I'll leave as a surprise. I'll let Alex talk about it because hint, hint, we played. So Alex, talk about your games.
Absolutely, yes. So my first game was against Alejandro, who shout out on Instagram. It's Alejo Minis, and he came down all the way from New York, which was really cool. He drove down 6.5 hours. So shame on you, Neil, for not driving 3 hours. But
I was alone with my daughter this weekend, so we had
that's fair.
Yeah,
whatever.
we're unable.
Priorities, But he had a great time. That was his second game of Warhammer Age of Sigmar ever, with the first one being the day before with me. So we basically agreed that I'll play him again because I'm kind of familiar with his rules, his army, help him actually learn. It went well. We were trying to play competitively, and I was helping him out, and was back and forth. But in the end, I won. But he had a really good time. He was starting to get overwhelmed though, because we were using all the rules, right? And for the second game ever, he was playing Nurgle, and Nurgle has so many things to keep track of. So many. I did not realize, and so he was getting overwhelmed.
Having played Nurgle, though, if you sit down and you just grind out those first few games and you just learn it, it does start to come pretty quick after that. So
It did seem that way, and he was actually very good for second game. He was keeping track of disease points and contagion points, everything. So he did really well. It just took a little bit. And then my second game was against Rich, who is another local player, and his Corn. That was an extremely fun back and forth game. I think maybe Chuck, you mentioned, or somebody else, that anytime they would come visit us, it seemed like one of us or another was winning. Like at
Yeah, it
one
was a
point, I
complete
was feeling
swap.
super confident. Complete swap back and forth, and it did seem to not matter who got priority, who got double turn. It kept going back and forth until the last turn, turn 5, where I squeezed just barely with a few points. But yeah, very, very close game. And my last game was
before you
against.
go to that, Alex, Warhammer
Yes.
Weekly just had a show about like what makes a good game of Warhammer, and to me, if you go into turn 5 with a back and forth game like that, that is an amazing game of Warhammer. It sounds like that's a blast to me. So.
I totally agree. And I haven't played against Rich enough. I've played actually only one game against him in the past, but what a great guy. I'm really hope that he becomes part of our core group here in Ligonier and plays more AOS with us.
Yeah, he's been nice. He's been more consistent at the club, so I'm hoping he's the same and going to join more.
Yeah, I think so. And for the last game, me and Chuck played the last game on what scenario was that? It was the one where you can teleport or keep a unit in reserve, D3 units in reserve.
Spring the Trap.
Spring the Trap.
Yep.
And did we decide to put any of our units in reserve?
Absolutely not.
No. We just charged each other, and that was it.
Yeah, because I took my Gotrek list against you, so I had technically 3 models on the board. I'm like, nah, I'll keep them all.
Yes, it was great because I have my horde list with gifts, right? So I know it's way over 100 models, right? And yeah, it was fun. I think Gotrek killed like 70 models.
Yeah.
And your boats killed maybe like 12.
Yeah, they weren't doing all that great. The Admiral, actually, the Admiral and the Injured Master, it's a powerful little combo with just little melee there. They did decent work themselves.
Oh yeah. Now you run that in Barrack Nar, and you put in old Mustachio guns, and they get an extra attack on both their weapons. So.
Absolutely not. I guess that means I have to run Barrack Nar and the Mustachio guy. I'll be Barrack Thrang forever, sir.
All right.
You gotta respect the old ways. You know what's the old ways? No mustache guns.
You
You'll be too
can
proud.
only try to help. That's all you can do. You can try to help.
But yeah, no, it was a great event. Also, I'm happy. Alex made little goblin sort of like takeaways for us all. That was kind of cool. Yeah,
Nice.
little remember of the event. But there's also some awards. I'm thankful to have taken one of them. So one of the things during this event, obviously, Alex found a cool way to bring fitness into the event, which I failed to do in all mine, but he crushed it immediately. And it was just tracking total poundage of weight lifted throughout the entire event, starting from round 1 to whenever you called it. So
Each rep?
not rep. So like if you did one arm curl with a 20-pound dumbbell, 20 pounds added to your total.
What if you do that multiple times?
Keep adding.
Keep adding.
Okay.
And you can do whatever you want. So like the more efficient, the better. So doing deadlifts, squats, rows, shrugs. People are doing bench press, anything you want.
Yeah, I'm going for the 5-pounder, and I'm just doing it throughout.
Yeah, all day, all day.
Me and Alex, there's multiple times it's like our opponent's rolling dice, and we're just like, oh, okay, here's my saves, and we're just curling on the side or just overhead pressing or whatever, just because it's like gotta keep going.
Right.
Thankfully, I lost very quickly round 1, and thankfully KO is always a fairly quick army, so I was able to put in all the work and take home the strongest Git award, which is lifting the most total pounds and weight there. So I was very thrilled with that. It was 100,025 pounds in total.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I started getting good. I'm just like, and then I think it was Matt. He's like, so you're gonna like? He's like, you're not that far away from like 33,000, and game 1's not even over yet. It's like you could probably hit 100,000. I'm like, yeah, I probably could. So that became the goal, like win or lose. And happy to say I hit it, and feel tired, but I don't feel sore, so I'm good. But
Yeah, and to give you some perspective, nobody was even close to 100,000. Like, I believe there were a couple people who did 40,000,
Mhm.
and then that's it. So you didn't have to do it. It was purely a moral victory.
yes, I just had
I
the
will
urge.
say, with you, me, and Matt playing KO, our games are going to be over so quickly at NashCon that everybody else is going to be playing for 2 hours, whatever. We need to figure out what we're going to do in between our losses.
See, I'm well practiced because every Daughters of Cain list I've ever played at a tournament is always lose or win by turn 3. So I'm used to having a couple hours to kill after that. So we'll be good.
Right.
Um,
We get what 3 hours for a round?
I think it's 3 hours. I haven't checked actually, but like it's probably 3.
Good.
But yeah, NashCon prep is in. I got one more night at the barn to get maybe one more game in. I'm not too stressed about it. I feel comfortable with the lists now. I hate that the Gotrek list is so good. Like it just solves so many problems. I'm just like, and with the no risk without reward being in the pack, Gotrek being there is really useful to just put him on that center objective and be like, this is mine.
Funny.
I agree. I mean, just have one gotcha list, and that's probably going to be in the 5 games.
It's a fun. I love the mission so much. Yeah, I
It's
love
the
it.
only scenario it's to end, right? So I mean, it's got to be in there, and that's when you pop the gotcha list and you say, "Screw you, whoever you are."
Yeah, it's like here's my 2 lists. You know which one I'm using.
You know which one I'm taking, yeah.
But yeah, no, that was that. I'm trying to think. Oh,
Yeah, I'll give a couple shout outs to the people who actually won the other awards
oh yes,
for
please
the
do.
event. So Brad, who started playing Flesh Eater Courts, I believe he's bringing Flesh Eater Courts to the event.
Mhm.
He naturally won all 3 games. He was the only person who won 3 games. That was fantastic. Then Alejandro, actually we had a 4-way tie for the last place, or the sneakiest get a lot award. And Alejandro from Alejo Minis won that. And then we had Arcane Award for the most spells cast or unbound, or for the most prayers successfully cast. But with prayers, because some armies tend to do so many, we decided to divide them by half.
Yeah.
Right. And Rich, with his corn, ironically, won Arcane Award, which was very fun.
That's good. It's good.
Very good event. I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed running it, and it was a great time.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I hope you do it again. We'll start beefing up your terrain so you can have more better stuff than their club terrain. Like our club terrain Lignier is nice, but it's enough. You know what I mean? It's not. I think we can up your game, especially get some 3D printed
Upgrade
stuff.
a little bit.
I mean, we'll just have Matt do display boards and Neil print stuff for it, and then Matt go, nah, I don't want it, and then you'll have a whole army in like 2 days.
That's perfect. I love it.
Right in the feels. I don't want to spend too much on it because I want to talk to Aleks about Aleks tonight. But we've all seen since there was a certain I'm gonna say there was a leak. There's a leak in the GW ship, and as a former playtester who got blamed for not personally, but as playtesters who got blamed for leaks, and we're all like, it's not us. Now that the playtester team is much different, and I'm not a playtester, and I see leaks happening even more aggressively, I can only go, guess it was never us, huh? Anyway,
yeah,
had to get that out there. No, anyway. So we've seen the leaks, and then because of the leaks, GW released a full reveal of the Cities of Sigmar human model line that they've redone. Neil, we'll probably when we talk about cities on a future episode, we'll go into detail. But high level overview, what do you guys think? Aleks, you're the guest. What do you think first of the cities models overall?
So when they first were revealed with the first 2 models, I don't remember how long ago, but it was the same time when the Lion was revealed and whatever else, and it was just the base troops. I was not a fan. They reminded me a lot of what were those humans from The Hobbit, from Lord of the Rings, the Lake Town?
Oh yeah.
They reminded me a lot of those, and I didn't love that vibe that much. But every single other unit they released from then, my excitement and my enjoyment of them keeps going up.
Okay.
I love how I love how it's so interesting because they are like almost weird and goofy, and but also at the same time very grim, dark, and serious. Right? Like a guy will have some random like item on top of his hat, but then there will be a dead, no, just a severed head, right? Or some weird cauldron or a burning skeleton, right?
Looks gritty. Yeah.
It looks gritty and goofy. It's like almost Monty Python, but grim dark,
Right. Right.
right?
I can see
So
that.
I love it. Honestly, I love it, and I don't know whether I'm going to buy a few of those kits and make my halfling cities of Sigmar. Just add to that, or just straight up go humans and buy a new cities of Sigmar army.
Neil, what about you? What do you
Yeah,
think?
I love.
For me, like it reminds me of I think it might have been like Warhammer Fantasy 6th edition. There's this old picture, and I know I've showed this to you before, Chuck, of Luther Huss, who was a Sigmarite priest, and it's black and white picture, and it's just like he's sitting there, he's on the horse, he's got like the hair over top of him, but like his face is just like you can see that it's just like I don't know, like just stuff coming down off of his face, and he's just holding out a beastman's head like that, and it reminds me of that gritty picture of like like they're all armored up, and I enjoy it. I like it. I mean, thank God the plumy pants are gone, right? I mean, that's what I've been asking. The plumy pants are gone. I don't know about these weird little creatures that keep popping up all over them, like these this snail with.
They did an article today
that-
about like what that was, and I'm like, it feels like you're using the lore to explain something that the artist wanted to do because it was cool. Like I'm
That's never making it onto a base of mine, but that's fine if that's your thing. Perfect, but whatever. Anyway, we'll get into that more later. But yeah, I think it's great. I love that it exists. I will not be starting that army personally, but I hope lots of people do.
Yeah, I saw the full range reveal and quickly realized that whoever was the sculptor at the time was also playing Elden Ring, and by the timing of how things work as far as being sculpted and then released, I bet that was exactly the case. Elden Ring was being played because I don't mind, like I never minded the poofy funny pants and all that sort of stuff. That all sat well with me, and now that to me that seems very Monty Python. This seems much darker. Like this seems like aggressively like grim and dark, and it's fine. It's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But it was just like took me a second to go like, oh damn, okay, let's realign. It sucks to be a human.
I think it across the point of just like this is like desperation for them. Like they're all armored up and everything, but you can tell like it's almost like we're all armored up and we look awesome and we're gonna die.
Yeah.
I think there's one model. It's just some big burly dude just behind like that giant great cannon. He's just down in a beer while he's shooting like the cannon. I'm like, he's the only one I think living life right now.
Yeah.
He's figured it out.
I saw a meme and it was a picture of one of the guys with the dogs, right? And it's like he's holding on to his dog, and it's an awesome model. He's got his pooch there, and his pooch is looking great. And then it says me versus the guy she tells me not to worry about. And it's Korgus cool with his dog. You're like, yeah, it's not even especially when the two models side by side. You're like, yeah, you're not gonna make it, man.
We'll see, but I'm also torn. Most of my city's army is a dark elf theme because mine was the Anvil Guard, then a Fallen Anvil Guard. Obviously, Harkron even isn't in the book now because it's not a city, it's a Sigmar. That all makes sense, but I'm not sure if I want to kind of like Alex with you, like restart the army and do humans, or should I just? I mean, I'm gonna wait because if that set that releases like with the book, like that, I guess limited edition starter set, whatever you want to call it, if that releases at a reasonable price, I might buy that and just kind of do a mixed army still, but. Except for the Depossessed. The Depossessed are terrible. They didn't do well with those rules. Doesn't seem... Oh, then not that they didn't do well. They just don't seem... They lost a lot of the flavor that I liked with them. But that's...
There's a direction they go.
Yeah, and that's fine. But like I said, I think a mixed human, mixed dark elf army could be kind of fun still. So I might. We'll see. Time will tell on that.
Yeah.
But with
Cut the umbilical cord.
now elves for days over here. It's gotta stay that way.
Yeah, you don't have enough elves, Chuck. You should definitely add some.
You're right. I will. But yeah, with I guess with the hobby out of the way. Yeah, Alex, thanks for coming on to the show to kind of talk about you, Warhammer, what you got going on and everything. So why don't you give us a quick rundown of tell us who you are. Feel free to do plugs for your own stuff right now. And I'll link all your plugs down below for like your links and such. But tell us who you are, and tell us how you got into Warhammer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Holy moly. That's the first one is going to be easy to answer. The second one, I'm not so sure. But yes, my name is Alex. Obviously, been talking for the last half an hour. Thank you for having me on. The main thing I do is I promote health and fitness in the Warhammer community on Instagram. You can find me under fit_hammer on Instagram, and I make fitness posts, workout programs. I do coaching as well. Yeah, that's kind of what I do, kind of what I love doing, and it's been cool to see how many people respond positively to it. Yeah, that's what I do. How I got into Warhammer is much longer story. So I've been into Warhammer now for about 15 years, which seems like a very long time. And a lot of people won't know, but originally I'm from Russia. And one day after school, me and my friend just went to the local mall, and the guy had a small hobby stand. He was just painting minis, and I asked him, "What is he doing?" He said, "It's a hobby. He paint minis." And we went to we bought a set of miniatures and paint brushes, and we bought them. Over time, got some more models. Then over time, heard of the game called Dawn of War. Started playing the game. Then found out that Dawn of War actually stems from a Warhammer tabletop game, which I was already painting miniatures at the time. And then eventually bought my first set of Warhammer miniatures, which was Warhammer 40k Orc Boys. And that's how I got into Warhammer. Yeah, because I was playing orcs in the 40k Dawn of War. Then got 40k Orc Boys for a tabletop. Didn't like 40k that much, so I got Orcs and Goblins. Then I got Allen of Blood set. Started, and my first real army was High Elves. Played a bit of 7th edition, mostly 8th edition, and yeah, the rest is history.
That's good. No, I think it's a shame you didn't elaborate on the initial story when you're in Russia with your friend at that mall. Like two little wee Russian lads just walking into this mall with it was open air, so like there's snow blowing in, there's wild bears running around, there's just some big burly shirtless guy painting miniatures. That's what everyone in Russia is like that. I mean, it's just Russia in the 90s.
I'm surprised you know it. Yeah. I'm surprised you know every detail of that story. That's crazy. Were you there?
Were in his eyes.
I mean, I can just picture it. I mean, there was. Now, I also. Sorry, it's like this is such an old joke, and Alex is gonna hate me for bringing it back up. The only primer color they sell in Russia is red, by the way.
Oh yeah. Oh, really? Why is that?
Because of the communism.
Oh. Yeah. Just in case anybody hasn't got that.
Yeah, in case you haven't got that joke. Although I should probably to be fair,
the way you said that actually made it funny.
I was debating on going communism because it's whatever bullshit Putin's doing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Old senile men with power. That's always great. Yay! Also, anyway. So yeah, you've been in this local area for a long time. Sorry.
Yeah, do you happen to know who was my first game of Warhammer in the States?
I know it was me. Because that was the weirdest game of Warhammer I think I've ever played, because of just you had 7th edition High Elves Russian, I had 8th edition High Elves English, and you were you could speak English, but I don't know your fluency level. I know it was weaker than obviously it is now, because now you're American fluent.
It was very.
So yeah, we did.
I remember. I have very vague memories of that game. Like I have flashbacks, but I don't actually remember it. But I do. But it was a great game. I do remember that.
Yeah,
how old were you happened?
Me or
how old was I?
Yeah, how old were you guys when that happened?
I was 14 or 15, so it was 11 years ago.
Yeah, so I was mid-20s. And so, and we just
Really.
that was my third game of Warhammer. Was the first one he had. So we just did stuff to the best of our ability, and we reached a point. And I was like, "Sounds like a good," and like we just considered it a good game. Like we were just like, whatever. We didn't know how to win. Like there was no win condition because no one told us how to win. We were just like, go.
That's funny.
Yeah. Forgot what I was gonna say though. I had a train of thought. But yeah. So Alex, and you've been part of this community for a long, long time. But I do want to talk about because I think it was a year ago, maybe two. Sorry, I lose track of time on this aspect, but you really committed to, your social media and making it a business. Why don't you explain like how like because there's a lot of people because there's people like me and Neil who just put stuff out there and are like we whatever like we're not really worried about like we grow a little bit at a time, but we're not trying to make it a business, so we don't have to focus on it and put out content. So why don't you explain a little bit about the journey you had um, developing, your following and growing your social media to the point where it's becoming a business for you, and it's great to see while you're also promoting such great things within the community.
Yeah, no, it's I'm extremely grateful for the way it shaped over the next about year and a half, I would say. I mean, overall, I had a social media for about 2 years on Instagram as far as Warhammer goes. And last year and a half is when I really started, took a risk and started pursuing it as a business. And yeah, the primary way that the business shapes itself is one-on-one coaching with Warhammer nerds. So it's really funny, right? So it's a very, very, very niche community, Warhammer nerds, and within that very niche community, there are maybe a handful of people who pursue health and fitness as well, or care about enough about their health and fitness they would want to pursue it. And some of them need some guidance and coaching. And I'm a registered dietitian. That's what I do for a living, is help people with their health, right? Primarily from nutrition, but also through exercise and lifestyle changes as well. So I decided to take those skills, actually, partially because of the encouragement from you, Chuck, because you already were having a model for encouraging strength and fitness and Warhammer,
Great. And
right?
I want to challenge one point you have there, but I saw it a little bit, but I've seen it even more through you, and I've made friends through you doing your content like this. I think there's a lot of people out there who were big into fitness, but and liked Warhammer, but didn't talk about the Warhammer aspect. And like for whatever reason
Yes.
or the other, they said and that came from me just always not caring what people think about me too much. That I'm just like, here's everything I am. But like as I did stuff. I saw a few people, and like now that you've done it, I've seen a lot more. Like I said, I've made friends with a lot of those people. That it's like, yeah, it's okay to have these two very different hobbies because it's life is life. It's not has to be. It doesn't have to be separated if you don't want it to be.
When
Absolutely.
when are you going to make that call to Henry Cavill? Start doing his diet.
Yeah, trip to the moon, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, he seems to be getting really into Warhammer, so I would love that. But also,
Yeah.
he's Henry Cavill, and I am some guy.
But yeah, no, the journey sounds like it's going very well. So I guess what was my question would be, what was the first moment, like the first thing that went viral for you, where you were just like, oh, this is working. What video was that?
The first, I mean, a really big viral video I've had was over 1 million views, and it was something along the lines of actually I remember exactly what it was. It was from one of Rent 4 events,
Ooh.
and it was the video of me and uh, I think you were in it, and Chuck was in it, and Cole and Brad, just like playing Warhammer over some music, right? This is like what life is all about, Warhammer is all about, and it just took off, and there were a lot of people who just seemed to like it. Some of my other viral videos recently were more like "Live for the Emperor" and stuff like that, but. Um, I think the big moment I knew when I made it was very, very humbling. Is um, when one of our common friends on Instagram, Ben Mudge from More Warhammer, was playing at a game with Dave from Miniwargaming, and he just sent me a video of Dave, playing game, and he said to say hi to Aleks, and Dave said that he heard about me. So I was like, holy crap, that is crazy. Like this here's a guy who I used to and still watched videos of playing Warhammer for the last over a decade. And because Dave is also into fitness, and the fact that he saw what I was doing and was appreciative of it was pretty neat. So
No, it's
yeah, it is.
I'm hoping that one day we make the drive up to Mini Wargaming, since I think we're only about 6 hours away. I think I looked.
Not that far.
Yeah, I want to go visit the bunker and just say hi and also play some games, and why not? Sounds like a cool time.
Great
Yeah,
trainer.
they're really cool guys. And Dave is currently on his own health and fitness journey. He's like down 40 pounds, leaner, more muscular. So and
Yeah,
he's actually working with Ben.
Yeah, he did a great YouTube video not too long ago. I will try to put in the effort to link that down below. Not that Mini Wargaming needs our views to help them grow, but it's actually a good video. It's worth watching.
I agree.
Neil, what questions do you have for our illustrious guest now that he's made it? He's been noticed by Senpai.
Since we just brought up Ren 4, Aleks, and I'll let you talk about this more, because I'm curious as to when you started kind of converting and creating your own miniatures, because you bring a certain army, or have brought a certain army to many events and have won the coolest army many years in a row, actually, with it.
The thing was actually only 2. I was looking for my awards recently. It was only 2, yeah.
Well, it felt like anytime that army showed up, it was a conclusion. So I'm like, well, let's just write Alex's name on this before we even vote on it. So and well deserved too. So
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about that, kind of when you started doing that, because that blows my mind. I have no idea how you do it. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So what you're talking about is my Cities of Sigmar halfling army. And I think I've actually started working on it in the late Fantasy 8th edition. And I had about 500 points of it.
About how old at that point?
How old was I at that point? I don't. How old is AOS?
7, 8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
8 years. So I must have been 17, 18 then.
I do remember.
Maybe I was just.
I remember long ago some of that, because I still remember that chicken that looks like chocolate. I think it's on your display board. I remember that from so long ago. Like but it looked like chocolate because with the primer, but it was just primed for so long. I'm like, dang, I want chocolate.
Yes. But that was my first army where I actually started, because there's not a lot of halfling models. I mean, especially at that time. Now 3D printer, you can find anything, but readily available halfling models that look good. I mean, literally, I kept searching, and being in high school, I had no money, so it was less about the desire to create models, and more about I have no money to buy this full army from some basically 3 companies that were available, who were super expensive, and they're shipping from Europe, right? For like 10 models. So I'm like, okay, what can I do? So we had a local hobby store. We had some Hobbit models, some GW, all GW models actually for Hobbits, like Lupin's Fighting Cocks. I'm not sure if you guys remember those from Fantasy.
Oh yes.
Like he had some of those models, he had some hot pots. So I got some of that. We had Ed from our club who had some old halflings as well. So I had some actual halfling models. But eventually I was like, I have like 20 models. I need to get some more. So I literally built and started casting my own models, and then just adding bits and green stuff to them. So about 50% of my army is just cast and green stuffed with different bits and pieces.
So crazy.
Yeah. So it was out of necessity, but over time it helped me be a better sculptor, and now I can actually just get some green stuff and create a foot or some shoulder pads and do that relatively with ease.
For those of you, and I wish we would have had a picture. I wish I would have had the forethought to put a picture of it up, but it's amazing. Like the sculpting on it is 100% legit. They are not. They're not something that he makes it sound like he didn't have any money and just kind of threw some claymation, stuck a couple art. No, these are legit ass models.
Yeah.
And they look amazing.
And the
And to your point about not having a lot of money and just having to find ways to make models, Chuck, I believe there's a certain brick of shame that maybe we need to give a little bit more a little bit more credit for attempting something. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, that brick of shame, it's making the rounds. It's a trophy at a prestigious invitational. Not to mention all the models that were actually on it have been used across my armies. So it's the brick of shame was necessity, but it's doing
those of you who
Kane's work now.
What we're talking about. If for those of you who are uninitiated in the Strength Hammer podcast, the brick of shame was at one point a block of wood that I morphed and painted up into a witch elf cauldron.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
Well, see, I to continue that story real quick because I love telling it. I got it. I ripped all the bits off of it to use it elsewhere across all my armies, and I took the piece of wood and I just put it in my tool chest, and it sat there for years until I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this invitational, and then like that idea popped up to use that as the brick of shame, and it just now it's a trophy, like this stupid piece of wood, like.
Desperation, built a cauldron with some bits that I had and no platform to actually put the cauldron on.
Hilarious.
Yeah. And
But shifting back, I want to compliment that army as well, Alex, because your use of like you mixing in the bits that you have like done, like high elf bit here, human bit here, pretending all that, it adds just enough that it looks just like an old 90s Warhammer army. Like those models fit perfectly. Like if you were making that back then and you're old enough and you were British and you lived near Nottingham, you probably would have been sculpting for Games Workshop. You know what I mean? It's that good.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say that much. I still can't sculpt hands. Hands are so hard. Like faces are relatively
Have you seen
easy.
90s Warhammer models?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you know what? You make a good point. I'm imagining a 90s Skaven model. Yeah, and it's like a finger is like the size of like this is a finger.
Yeah, it's like the Hulk hands.
Ridiculous. Yeah,
hands are hard.
I do see what you're talking about now. Okay, fair enough.
That's great.
Neil, I promise I won't bring halflings to next Strand 4. I'll give somebody a chance.
No, you won't. You're gonna bring that. You're bringing that Gitz army. It looks fantastic. No one has a chance.
I'm gonna bring the Gitz army.
I'm going to drive down to Columbus, grab Vince Venturella, and force him to come up just to give you give someone to fight against you with that award.
Right.
That's funny.
But
amazing army there. So that's one of the coolest things I think I've seen you do as far as in this hobby in general. So I was just curious as to when you started with that and like how the evolution of that goes. I've never actually even played with green stuff, and just the very thought of it, having heard the block or the brick of shame story, to me, to be able to pick that up and pick that skill up almost on a whim is just mind blowing to me. So.
And to top it off, you're an excellent painter, so it definitely helps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
You are. You're a top level painter. You have a very cool style. And I think that I'm not sure if that's like that came over from maybe it was like a style over from Russia whenever you were growing up. That's what you saw, and that's why it stuck. But like it's very like I don't see that style too often anywhere else. Like you have a very unique style, but it's really nice.
Let me ask you this now too. Where do you see that army going now that Cities of Sigmar has taken kind of a left turn on you?
Yeah, I have multiple ideas. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the Cities book. I'm going to go through it. And if there's a fighting chance of converting 80% into the new Cities book, that's what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I don't care if I lose a few units, like 20, 30 models worth, fine, whatever. I'll use them. I'll find a use for them somehow. Maybe I can make a warband or whatever. But if it's different enough that like half my army is not usable, I will probably make them into a Warhammer Old World army.
Oh, I was hoping you'd say
that. I have enough of it and all the Empire stuff. So I mean, that's what I'm going to do otherwise.
Nice. Yeah. I think that would fit perfect.
And that kind of answers the question I had. What was your old world plans?
Yeah, well,
high elves
old world plans. I have high elves already, and just have to rebase them probably. Unless we're gonna be serious about actually continuing to play 8th edition, then I might keep them on their current basis.
I mean, we need to wait and see. I'm gonna have a personally. I'm gonna do an army based with the new base sizes, but I'm gonna keep enough of all my other armies. Like I'm only gonna do one army. I'm gonna have an old world army. The rest I'm gonna keep the old bases. One, because I like 8th edition. I want to keep playing it, and two, because around here, if no one else wants to rebase, I can take the same size bases and we can still play the new rules if that's what they want to do.
That's fair. Yeah, but I am also very excited for Kislev.
Well,
true.
yeah.
I mean,
They
yeah,
do look good.
get the Ice Queen out.
And
there.
I mean, no surprises there.
Get no arguments. I think that army, when that army does decide to come out, is going to be mind blowing. So
Absolutely.
Agreed.
That's good. Well, I mean, I tell you what, Alex, let's throw you a curveball question. You ready for this one?
Okay, go
All
ahead.
right. Have you ever played?
Do it.
Have you ever played Fuck, Marry, Kill?
Sure.
All right. Let's
it says
do.
trepidation.
Let's do. Alariel, Grugny, and Gorkamorka. Gorkamork.
Oh, that's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, come on. I'm gonna fuck Alariel. I'm gonna marry Grugny. I'm gonna kill Gorkamorka. I mean, are you kidding me?
Okay. All right.
Even as
I know that was easy. Come on, do better.
Okay.
I heard somebody do this one time with Gorka Morka, Archaon, and Nagash.
Oh, that would be.
There we go.
That's
Hey,
impossible.
come
How
on,
would
no,
you?
you gotta go now. Here's the tough one.
Gorkamorka, Nagash, and Archaon. I would probably marry Nagash because Gorkamorka and Archaon would both abuse me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then probably fuck Gorkamorka and kill Archaon.
That's fair.
I don't know,
That's
man.
it.
Archaon's got a little Slanesh in him, right? You know, so you could have a wild time with it.
That's true.
Actually,
that is a horrible question to ask.
the best one I ever heard as far as a response, and I love that we were family friendly until like this last like 5 minutes. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh no, turn the episode off."
Sorry, guys.
But the best response I've heard to that is someone said, "All right, fuck, marry, kill the Chaos Gods. Like, just pick 3." And the person went, "I'm gonna marry Slanesh, and I'm gonna fuck Slanesh until she dies." I was just like, "Ouch." Okay, you're just really
It's
into
fair.
that one. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway,
That heads up.
Good question, Chad. Good question.
I mean-
and Neil.
got it mixed up a little bit here. What's your plans for the rest of the year then, as far as Warhammer as well as fitness?
Yeah. As far as Warhammer, the plan is to actually wait, Neil, is Rand 4 happening this year?
Not this year. Not this year.
Not this year, okay.
How about breaking news?
Yeah, it'd be great. The plan is to finish Glowspite Git's army, take them to NashCon. I would like to finalize them and maybe take them to a few more tournaments, probably play them until the end of the year. And then it's probably going to be cities in some fashion. I would like to start a Space Marine army, I think, in 2024.
That'll be perfect.
And I think so, yeah. And in AOS, if I had to start a new army in AOS, I would be very interested in Soulblight Gravelords.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
As far as
that's
can handle
Soulblight's got in my head too a little bit. I don't know what
Yeah,
it's going
we
through.
can do it together.
It's going through Ligonier right now. I think it's like this area, Ligonier, Latrobe area. It's like a virus.
Yeah.
It's just spreading.
I think so. And you're thinking more like monster heavy
Yes.
Soulblight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. So if you get on it first, I'm not gonna do it. If I get on it first, can we have the same army?
Okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Fitness. What's your plans for fitness?
You're good. Fitness. I'm probably gonna do and focus more on consistent body recomp, so building muscle, losing fat for the next couple months. But as we get into the colder months, more layers of clothing, I'm gonna pursue strength again.
Okay. Yeah, I think you and I should. You and I should push to get a 500-pound deadlift. I think.
I'm down. I mean, I'm down to do that.
Like
Starting maybe.
yeah, like maybe like late autumn through winter, like we really like
Yeah, I'm
focus
down.
on deadlift and focusing on improving that because I would like to hit that.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do October on, like late October.
What are you guys at right now for your deadlift?
Go ahead, Chuck. You can start since you brought it up.
I can't remember. Is it four? Are we at? No, we're not in the 460s yet, are we? Or are we? We're pretty close on it, so I can't recall. 465?
I think we're.
I think that's yours. I think it might be 455 is the last time I tested it.
That sounds right. Yeah, 465 was, I've only been able to pull it once and then not come anywhere close to it, and it was not a good lift. Like technically it was a deadlift because I got the bar off the floor down to a straight standing position.
Yeah.
But I would have failed at a meet because I let it rest on my legs for like a half a second. So technically it's a PR, but
It was a grind.
somebody would say it was a grind. It was like a 10-second rep. It was like. But be down, yeah. I mean, I pulled a 35 recently, and like maybe a few weeks ago, and it felt okay. So I'm down to train heavy again. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be maybe the next couple of weeks after NashCon. I need to one day we'll retest like our deadlift maybe because I haven't tested mine in a while, but like I can do 405 any given day for multiple reps. So I'm like I know it's probably up maybe 435 is doable without much effort. So we'll see. But okay, there's some breaking news. Neil, you want to join us?
Yeah, 5 sure. Yeah.
500, yeah, let's do it.
350 was 5 years ago. So yeah, that's don't see that one happen.
Okay, all right, fine. That's fine.
You know what my problem's always been with the deadlift because I don't cheat and use straps.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Is I have bad grip strength and I've always had bad grip strength, and so I could have done more than the 315. I'm sure I could have, but it would slip out of my hands, and so I had to work on my grip strength, and for whatever reason that just doesn't seem to come for me. I also didn't work on it for very long before I stopped lifting seriously. So
did you do mixed grip or did you try to do just overhand?
Man, it would just peel right out of my fingers once I got up around the 300s. So
gotcha. Yeah,
still baby wrists.
I
out of there.
I use straps now too, but that's more like anything over 405. I'm afraid to do mixed grip because I'm like I'm not competing. I don't want to tear a bicep tendon. I'll just use straps.
Yeah,
but
no, that's fair. Well, it all depends on your goals.
Yeah, doing best not get injured while I lift as heavy as possible is my goal. So. But no, Aleks, I really. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
One jump in here, shifting back to the Warhammer aspect of things with Soulblight Gravefords. I'd like to see one of you guys, and maybe a little challenge for Aleks here. Take the I've always seen the Incarnate of Gur, and to me that like putting that in place for like a custom Mortark or something like that, because it's already got a Mortechy kind of look with that the horse, the droopy horse. I'd love to see somebody do something with a Mortec with that thing. I think that would look awesome.
Like you're thinking instead of one of the Mortarks?
Yeah, so instead of one of the Mortarks like Manfred, instead of one of the horses, right, that they're riding on, you use the Incarnate of Gur instead.
That's not a bad idea.
All right, so Aleks is.
You could actually probably just use the whole model as a.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea.
The base size is much bigger, so you'd have to get a little creative.
Or just put it on a different base.
Put it on different base, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
maybe even because Vampire Lord is pretty bulky too. Actually, probably bulkier than Mortarks.
You can do
like a dragon.
Yeah, Vampire Lord and Dragon.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah, you can do wings on that thing.
Actually, I could probably do that now because I have an Incarnate.
There you go.
Not now because I have to paint goblins.
Yes.
But in a couple weeks.
That sounds like it's his idea. So there we go, Aleks. Can't wait to see it in 2026.
All right.
2025, maybe, I don't know.
2026. I'll have it built in 2024 and don't paint until 2026. Sounds like me.
There you go. All right. Aleks, give us one more shout out where people can find your amazing content and emails, whatever you want to give out.
Yeah, just fit_hammer on Instagram, and that's pretty much it.
Okay. Sounds good. Well, we will see you all next week. You'll see myself, Neil, and Matt, because we're going to be talking about our pre-NashCon extravaganza, because we'll be at NashCon whenever that podcast releases, and we're going to talk about our little KO battle and go into some
Nice.
detail, reveal what we're good with revealing, because I got some secret stuff I'm doing. Maybe we all have a little secret stuff as far as like my display board's under wraps. Like, it's gonna be a reveal there, and you guys are gonna be like I'm trying to make it as big as possible. I keep talking it down to more remove the expectations just in case, but that'll be next episode. So expect lots of dwarf love, and NashCon talk. So tune in then, and that'll be episode 66. So till then, everybody stay Stormcast strong and happy hobbying.